low-key to all my lost poetry. Oh, shoot. I forget when the light isn't working like that. You gotta take turns. I'm over here ready to go. So, yeah. But I'm just so excited to memorize more of my poems and go out and perform more. So, if you guys know any dope spots in Atlanta, aside from Apache Cafe and the Circle, you guys gotta visit. Definitely gotta visit those two spots for sure. But since I already know them, I just want to make sure that you guys are listing other options. You know what I mean? So yeah. And if you aren't familiar with the Circle Poetry or Apache Cafe, I think it's Apache XLR Atlanta, something like that today. But yeah, if you aren't familiar with those platforms, all my creatives, you guys go check it out. It's pretty easy to perform. They have open mic nights and they have multiple opportunities for you to put your work out there. So go do it. Go do the thing, baby.
I'm stopping for lunch. Haven't eaten anything. This is my breakfast and lunch. And probably dinner. And some plantains, because I love plantains, y'all. So,
Party start from the parking lot. Room we are rave and a drink all night, yeah. Ay, when my party, me no hold back. Tell her one back, if you drive shop. Hey, no girl me fuck, can't stand no drama. Me make me girl be that banana. Baby miss, she know them policy. After 9 o'clock she can't call me. After me no idiot, yeah. After me no idiot. I recognize your fragrance, hold up, you ain't never gotta say shit, and I know you taste this a little bit, high maintenance, everybody else basic, you live life on an everyday basis with poetic justice, if I told you that a flower bloomed in a dark room, would you trust it? I mean, I write poems in these songs, dedicated to you when you're in the mood for empathy, it's blood in my pen. Better yet with your friends and them. I really wanna know you all. I really wanna show you off. Fuck that, pour up plenty of champagne. Cold nights when you curse this name.
Grief comes in waves. Reminds me of the ocean. Through the dark, the deep, the ever-extending, the salt of this earth lights the dark sky. Grief comes in shadows. Reminds me of the moon. Through the dark, the deep, the ever-extending. The light of this world lights the dark sky. While light brings waves and throw away the sun to shade, to float is to hide the sun at its command of time. Until it's time to be, until it's time to rise up, until it's time to shine again. Grief comes in waves. It reminds me of the ocean. As it comes, grief comes in shadows. It reminds me of the moon as it goes. It reminds me of the joy that comes in the morning that goes as you learn to let it all go.
When we do some spoken word stuff, basically, and it's called line by line, right? So basically, we all write something at some point. I don't care if it's just hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. Tell me about what the clock did when the mouse ran up it, right? So it's called line by line. So I am going to rent is due. The light bill was 2 months behind and I threw that shit right on you. Kids in daycare, and even though they got your last name, I bought these kids into the relationship, and you treat them just the same.
Wow.
I lost my
friend. Those who vibe off negativity don't get too far.
You can daydream or fall into one at the glimpse of a star, but when your physical recreates, you will capitulate. The evil in mankind may even play a hate, but wait, is it fate in disguise as destiny's mistake trying to imply what we already know? You see, the man inside the man fears the beginning of the end and then rejects an image, blind to the fact that that image is him. Know when is your time to shine. Leave the past behind and reach for those things ahead. Allow space in your head to meditate and reflect, whether it be on the things that you ate or the things that you have neglected. Conquer the wind. Remove yourself from the image of sin and the image of him and be heard. That was a freestyle. That's all I got.
Okay. This poem is called Prayer Rug, also called Salli, because I come from a long line of Muslims. So we practiced Islam for a very long time, but I actually converted to Christianity. I feel like that wasn't a religion that really resonated with me, and I think it's because it wasn't meant for me. So this was kind of a poem that reflects that struggle. I'm gonna spit out this poem right here. Hold on. My mother's prayer rug has seen faith and faithlessness, doubt marking foreheads as we bow to Allah. There is no God but God. Legs folded, reciting the Fatiha. I've seen men die, martyrs, his name on their lips. They want a savior. 5 pillars and yet none that will give my mother the strength. Sometimes she wakes up screaming, swearing she's seeing demons, holding the Quran to her chest. She says, Allah will surely bless, eyes covered but all seeing. Is it mercy that you're seeking? My mother's prayer rug has seen faith and faithlessness, doubt marking foreheads as we bow to Allah. There is no God but God. And my God is silent. My God shifts seas and makes weary eyes dream of Jannah, of Jahannam, of the Mizan as it measures our deeds. I only pray for guidance in the face of adversity, for mercy in the face of violence, and for a God that will judge me by the strength of my conscience. My mother's prayer rug has seen faith and faithlessness, doubt marking foreheads as we bow to Allah. There is no God but God. And my God is selfish. How can you tell me to have faith when I've seen the way my mother has struggled, crossing a war zone, shielding children, seeds barely sown? Those bullets watered us, named us refugees. Tell me, where do you seek asylum after lost faith? I'm writing letters with no addresses, hoping I can deliver, praying to a God, and I hope he delivers.
I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna get a little hot. So whatever you want to do with that, you take that with you when you do whatever you want to do with it. Okay. So I don't want to talk about heartbreak. That's not something I want to do today. So let's spice it up a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm really into erotica and being comfortable with my sexuality and my body, and just, you know, after having kids and things like that, you just don't feel like yourself. So I wrote this poem at that time when I was trying to get back into the swing of things in my bedroom. So this is called Bedroom Picnic. Fast in the essence, longing for this essential presence. As our bodies converse, Oh, how we thrive. Shamelessly deprived, baby, quench my thirst. Silhouettes toast as we don't. To the content of the fine wine so vintage, the taste stains my lips. With every embrace, finger slips. To my hips, maintaining grip. Kiss fruit on the tip of my tongue. Lingering of strawberries dipped in yum, tantalizing desserts, ice cream while we spoon. My passion is fire, innermost desires. This taste of the mind's nectar, intellect we connect. Let's devour the intensity, satisfying the cravings with you.
After years of misguided love and love affairs that I was not a part of, moving on was the only way I could survive. My yin and my yang separated. In order to find peace, I would become my protector. I stopped looking to others, turned my sights high. I started becoming the best me for me. Leaning not into my own understanding, but learning to move with intention for myself, loving myself the way I poured into others all of my life. It is my life. It is my time. My inner phoenix spreads her wings. I have found solace.
Yes.
I have found my guides. Peace, love, and strength are mine.
Go! Oh, 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 oh. See, I craved their acceptance, and I feared y'all's rejection. So I gave up being the exception. I put my soul down, I exchanged that for some sin. I lost myself and I couldn't hear from within. I couldn't face myself or my pain. Grins were harder from the men who then professed they love for me, but whose walk only minimalistically compared to the soldier in me. See, it ain't no way they could have carried my cross. You gotta learn to follow before you can boss. And for some, it takes 40 years of being lost. Now that's once you get up out of Egypt. We ain't even counting the ones that don't know that we's free. See, some of us is still slaves to the trees. Whether hanging or swinging, got them all meditating, moving that weight. You can't be moving and waiting for a sign from the man or woman. Respect, right? You can't be moving and waiting for a sign from the man. You must thoroughly understand the plan. That means you got to read it for yourself. It is detrimental to your health that you do not follow the masses. Classless futures are promised. So as the dumb become bums and the rich continue to run from the ones that defied the odds and got those good jobs, them snobs that used to be in the barrel with the rest of the crabs now laugh at the ones who opted out of the abortions. Standing in line waiting on their portion of a slice of American pie. See, them ones that laugh will probably die, which is why they ain't even try to carry the gift of life. Despite the trite appearance of the crowd, it passed the smell of the loud. Plus the fact that our youth be floating on some cloud. You gotta dig deep and listen to them judgmental sounds that circulate inside of your head. And realize that there might be a piece of you that is already dead. And the only way to deliver it is to go through the birthing process. Now you gotta savor the pain of this enormous abscess as you face your truth. Die to yourself and become the living proof, or remain aloof to the world around you. Now,
but I tried to hide from God is time I go for broke and break off this facade. I hear that men struggle between Jacob and Israel. I can relate. I got traits of Delilah and Jezebel. Yeah. Let's keep it real. Sin is fun. We love the thrill. Life with no God and we do what we feel. But are we real enough to admit living lives as hypocrites? Let's address the counterfeit. Don't hide from it. Let's counter it. See, I don't need a mirror. I hide behind exterior. Strong woman syndrome, but I'm my own victim. Pseudo-spiritualism, a fool of worldly wisdom. Hair wraps can't hide the mental suicide of letting satanic lies infiltrate. Living dead. And not awake. We're not awake. Because you can't hide from yourself, Everywhere you go, oh, 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 there you are. We go to church but don't confess. Too embarrassed, life's a mess. Embracing the curse but saying you blessed. Doing big things, who's impressed? Making excuses for the flesh. Unprepared and fucking the test. Settle for milk, don't want the meat, but crying out, my flesh is weak. Fronting Flirting with me and you got a wife. Tempting me in my single life. In the church and raising hell. But shame on me because I blame myself. Don't shout now if I'm on your road. Receive the message so you can grow. Holiness is still the charge. How you spiritual poor but you living large? Emptiness, I see a hole. Avoid your eyes reflecting your soul. We wear the mask, we dress it up. Hands lifted up but we messing up. 1 foot out and 1 foot in. Two-faced like a Siamese twin. I spew you out neither cold or hot. Authenticity cannot be bought. Still can't be bought. Cause you can't hide from yourself. Fronting in relationships, a self-made prison. Dimming your light for men and for women. Ashamed of your culture, apologizing for Christ. Sold yourself short, what a hefty price. We point our finger, we shake our head at the latest scandal that we've read, as if we've never sipped the devil's nectar. But I know better. You ain't always been together. Instead, check your own meter. Pray harder for our leaders. It's taken us years to master. We gotta pray hard for these pastors. Tweet the proclamation. Facebook the decree. Mouthpiece declares war on an enemy. Cause I'm trashing these demons of the inner me. Slipping into darkness, what a slip.
Make your thoughts like stars. Limitless and dependable. Hyperextend your actions. Learn the rules, then break them better. I mean, instead of taking detours, destroy construction sites. And when they ask you for your reasoning, say every road should be available. Never walk away from so-called limits. Face them with your chest stuck out, the sledgehammer of endurance. Strike once, twice, 3 times. Say, my ancestors took stripes, and not the ones on the flag. For me to have possibilities, not just the A or B answer. Say, Dr. King was murdered because he wanted justice. And I am here to make sure his intentions are in effect. No longer will I drag myself in the shadow of hate or get up to dress myself each morning in clothing of judgment. Freedom should be costless. But your discrimination is the barrier because if freedom of speech is an amendment, why treat it like it's a felony? They say, young boy, learn to speak up. Never mind, stay quiet. Teenage girl, learn to stand for the truth. Forget it, sit down. The American flag is a universal symbol for freedom, but I bet you touch the stripes and your fingers will automatically become stained with blood because strictly based on history, freedom was a shriveled promise.
Look down at the spot.